Alright, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. So I finally got a break. I've been super busy doing moving jobs, mostly with TaskRabbit, like literally every day, every other day. So I finally got a break. Today's gonna be a chill day. I just want to show you these two jobs. I'm doing a Dlivrd catering order, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's my first time doing two in the same day. Normally I only do one a day because a lot of the orders are like lunchtime, like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. So I was able to get two. So I told you guys I've been getting offers, like 3 or 4 offers per day. And I turn most of them down because it's either too far, like for the pickup, or the pay is not high enough. The pay has to be a minimum of $30. In this situation, I got a good paying one and then a lower paying one, but I'm still doing it because I'll be close to it once I finish the other one. So anyways, I just want to document this because I think this is my first time doing 2 Dlivrd orders in the same day. So that's not what this video is about. It's actually about Dolly. And I'm not doing it's not about the Dolly Standoff or anything like that. I'm starting a new series. I'm gonna be doing pros and cons of the gig apps. All of the gig apps that I use and I'm active on, I'm gonna do pros and cons of it. So I get a lot of questions about what apps you use, all that stuff. I did a video on it. I did a video on all the apps that I'm active on, and I've done a video on pros and cons of gig apps in general. So this is gonna be each individual app. I'm gonna do the pros and cons, and I wanna start with Dolly because that is the #1 app in my market for me. So anyway, that's what this video is about. So I'm not gonna show too much content because it might be kind of long, but I'm gonna get right into it. And I'm gonna share the pros and cons of Dolly. That's what this video is about. All right, guys, we just picked up from Freebirds, and we waited a total of 45 minutes. So this is a big order, but it's not like super big. The problem was they didn't have enough workers. A couple people called off. So it's like 1 or 2 people working on this big order. So it's super late. I don't blame the workers. They're trying as hard as they can. But 45-minute wait time. So we just been chilling. This is the order. Pretty big order. Normally this order would pay about 100 something bucks, but it all depends on the customer, how much they tip. So it's very short distance. We're driving like 2 or 3 miles, I think. No, maybe like 4 miles, something like that. So anyways, this is the order. We got to go get it dropped off, and I'll tell you a little bit more about it once we get on the road. All right, guys, so Dlivrd catering app doesn't pay very well for wait time, and this is not, it's a good paying order, but normally an order like this would pay a little bit more, but it's still cool. I'll show you how much I got on this one. But this order is separated into 3 separate orders. So it's one order, it's going to the same location, but there's 3 separate orders. So maybe like 3 different departments or something like that. I think we're going to a hospital. So they just combined it. The good thing I like is that they gave it to one driver. So that's something I complained about a lot, is they'll have orders like this, really big orders, and they'll split it. They'll have like 2 drivers or 3 drivers, and sometimes one doesn't show up or one's late and we don't know who's coming. Or I had one where I picked up half the order, I left the other half for the other driver, and their car was too small. They couldn't fit everything, so it's just a mess. So they know I have a cargo van, and I can pretty much haul any size order, so I'm glad they just gave it to me. That's how it should be. So anyways, we're driving 4 miles. I'm gonna get this dropped off real quick, and then we'll head to the other one, and then I'll get into what this video is about. Pros and cons of Dolly. All right, guys, I'm not gonna record this, but I've been here multiple times. It's gonna be a drop off right here in this little circle. So I'm gonna call, and I think they're waiting for me right here with this cart. All right, guys, this is the group we're delivering to. I'm just gonna park right here. All right, guys, so we just got 2 boxes left. They're taking them 1 cart at a time. They take like 3 or 4 boxes at a time with the cart. This order's messed up. There's 3 separate groups. It's all to the same address, but there's 3 separate divisions, and they didn't like separate whose is whose. So they just wrote, I think they wrote on the box like if it's chicken or whatever, but it doesn't say. It should be separated by the group. So like group 1, group 2, group 3, something like that. So anyway, they got to figure it out. It's not our fault, but you know, that's just what it is. But they were rushing, they were running late, 45-minute wait. So all right guys, we're done. This was the pay. So the original pay was $55. They gave us like an extra $8 or something like that for the wait time, 45 minutes of wait time. So I told you it wasn't the best paying order for that size order, but I mean, still good. Most orders I've been getting are around 35 bucks, somewhere around there. So you don't see a lot of $55 orders. Again, it's all based on the tip too, so depends on how a customer tips. One thing that's interesting, this is what makes my videos longer, but I just got to share this. One thing that's interesting is that this customer, they order all the time. I've been here multiple times, and they have different drivers all the time that drop stuff off. And they've had people that don't know where to go. They won't call. They just like can't find it, but they don't have enough sense to call the customer and say, hey, where do I go? Stuff like that. And they've had big orders like this where Dlivrd will send 2 or 3 drivers, and 2 drivers show up, but the other one nowhere to be found. Like, it's just all messed up. They show up all different times. They deliver half the food, and then 30 minutes later the other driver delivers. So this was great. They were happy that I brought everything at once in this big old van. So that's another thing. I don't know how that works or why that is. I know the last time I had an issue, Dlivrd said that it's the customer requests multiple vehicles. I don't think that's true. Dlivrd needs to know who the drivers are and what vehicles they have. So when anybody that's in a cargo van can handle a big load, like the one I just did, I could handle even more food than that. So that should just be a no-brainer. Let the customer know, hey, we have a cargo van available. Would you like it all to come in one, you know, all at the same time? And then let them say yes or no. Anyways, I just want to share that. But we're 6 miles from the other pickup, Dlivrd catering order. We've been out here about almost 2 hours. So there's a lot of orders I'm missing right now, a lot of dispatch orders and stuff I can't do, but it's all good. Anyway, so let me go knock this out, and then I'll get into why I'm here. I'm not gonna show much about this one though. I'm not gonna show anything at all. I'm just gonna show you how big the order is and the pay, and then we're gonna jump right into Dolly. All right, y'all, I promise this is it. I ain't showing nothing else. So self-explanatory. That's the order. That little bag right there, one little bag. It's paying I think $20. So the reason I accepted this is because it was so close to the other order, and I knew I was gonna be, the pickup was right after the drop off of the other one, so it made sense. So anyways, look at the mileage. This is how far I'm driving. It's walking distance, so 1 mile away. So I'm gonna knock this out, and then we're gonna get into what this video is about. All right, just before I get into the Dolly thing, just to clarify, when it shows the time that it took to do the order, that's the time that you actually went en route. So once you hit en route, which is usually 30 to 40 minutes before the order starts, that's when the clock starts. So it doesn't take that long to do these orders. Like this one took literally 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes. But it'll say 37 minutes because I started, when I hit en route, you know, that was like 20, 30 minutes ago. So that's the reason why. So just wanted to clarify that for you guys. All right guys, I'm gonna get right into it. I don't want to spend a lot of time explaining things. I did videos on Dolly Standoff. If you're not familiar with it, you have to watch those videos. So this is me just as an independent contractor. I'm on the Dolly platform and I'm sharing my experience. That's it. So there's some things I might say that people don't agree with, but this is my experience. So that's what I'm sharing with you guys. So this is Dolly Helper App pros and cons. And I'm gonna go quickly through this. My Rumble page is where I do more in-depth and go into details. So I'm just gonna summarize a lot of this stuff. So the first thing I'm gonna do is the pros. And the pros is first because there's not a lot, there's just a few. The cons is a long list. I know I left some things out. There's something I'm gonna like miss, and you guys will probably think of it. These are the most important ones. I wrote down the ones that stand out the most. So number one, the pros is, for me, again, I gotta say this is for my market and my experience. So somebody might have totally opposite feelings about this company, all right? So I just wanna clarify that. So starting with the pros, most work. Dolly has provided me with the most work. I get work, literally work comes out every single day, and that's all I can say. Compared to other apps, it is the most work that comes out. There's a lot of customers, okay? A lot of customers. So there's retail customers, so the stores that you pick up from, it's so many stores. There's Lowe's, there's Best Buy, there used to be Big Lots, it's now at home. It's so many stores, retail stores that use Dolly. Secondly is a private citizen. So anybody can use the Dolly app. So a customer, your neighbor, can go on the app and book a job. They can have someone move an item for them. You know, if they bought something off Facebook Marketplace, or they need to get rid of their old refrigerator, whatever they need to do, they can use the app. So it's a lot of people using it, so it creates a lot of work, okay? Direct deposit. They have direct deposit, and one of the best things about their direct deposit is they pay twice a week. Most gig apps only pay once a week. And a couple of them pay like every 3 to 4 days, something like that. And very few pay same day or next day. Dolly pays on Fridays and Tuesdays, okay? You get a deposit and it goes straight into your PayPal account. So that's kind of a con, but you have to have PayPal. They don't use any other platform. I do understand why they use PayPal, because on that end, it costs money to do deposits. So PayPal is more than likely, it's a better option for them, so they don't have to pay as many fees and stuff like that. So, but you do have to have PayPal, but 2 days a week you get paid. It is the best pay compared to other apps. There's a lot of other apps that I use, and you know, I do a lot of larger items with Dolly. It's a lot of sofas and washers and dryers and stuff like that. And there are little items too. There's times where you do little things like from the Container Store, and the pay will still be really good. So compared to other apps, I'm not saying the pay is good in general, but compared to other apps like GoShare and Simpex and all these other apps, the pay is pretty good. It's decent. It's one of the best paying apps. Customer support. You do have customer support. I do like the fact that you can message them, you can email them, or you can call them. That is the best part. You can actually call somebody, and that's the feature I use the most. When I have a problem, I show up at the customer's house and nobody's home, nobody's answering. I call them. I don't want to do messaging and stuff. It takes too long. So it's great that you could call somebody and get help right away. Okay, so they do have that in place. I like the way they pair you with another helper. You can work with another helper, so somebody that has a vehicle like a pickup truck or a cargo van, or you can work with a hands, which is someone that doesn't have a large vehicle. They're just a helper. They just help you load and unload stuff. I really do like that feature, and I like the fact that, you know, they pair people for you. So if you don't have anyone specifically that you want to work with or that you know, you just put in for the job and you tell the app, find somebody for me, and they'll do it for you. That's pretty cool. But they also, at the same time, they have teams. And teams, you could build your own team. So you could work with whoever you want to. So if you have a neighbor or a cousin or a relative or somebody that, you know, needs work, you can add them to your team. They just go through the background check, they pay for background, and once they're cleared, they're part of your team. So you will be responsible for paying them, and you have to split the pay. So whatever the pay is, you have to split it with them, however you want to. But you're responsible for paying your assistant. That's what they're called, your assistant. So you could build a team and basically have your, like for me, my team is me and my wife. So my wife is an assistant. She's not on the Dolly platform, but she's vetted through Dolly, went through the background, and she is part of my team. So anytime I request a job, I put team, saying I already have somebody with me. So I don't have to request some random person. And then I don't have to split the money. The money stays in our household. So I really do like that. There's about a 50% chance of winning. So when you put in for a Dolly, this is just my experience, it's about a 50% chance of winning. Some people have a lower chance, some people have higher. It all depends on your ratings, and it depends on how many jobs you do, like how many Dollies you've done. People that do the most Dollies usually will win. You have a higher chance of winning. But in my experience, it's been about a 50-50 chance. So there's some jobs I put in for, I don't get it, but usually like every other job I put in for, I usually get it. That's just been how it is. The app caters to larger vehicles, which is something I really do like. I wish Dispatch was like that. Dispatch is one of my favorite apps, but they don't cater to cargo vans. So a lot of the jobs that come out in my market, 85% of the jobs are pickup truck and car. A lot of car orders all day, every day. Very few cargo van loads. So I like the fact that Dolly, most of their jobs cater to large vehicles. So there's most customers are using it to move big items, either a moving job or moving a sofa, a refrigerator, a washer, a dryer, you know, something big where you need a vehicle this size. So I do like that. Almost all the jobs that come out are catered to larger vehicles. I like the fact that it's app-based, right? It's an app-based, everything is done on the app. So all the communication, all the customer support, all of the information you need for the job, all the upload photos, closing it out, everything is all in one place. So I do like that. Any app-based gig app is the best, right? You don't have to do anything, just do everything on the app. So that's definitely a pro. I like the fact that details can be added. So when a customer books a Dolly, they can add details. They can put notes. So, you know, they could say, you know, you're gonna need, you know, a Dolly for this, or, you know, my address, you know, the nav is gonna take you here, but, you know, go here. You know, they can add details to make it easier for you to understand the job and to get better direction and stuff like that, and more details of what you're doing. So I do like that feature. There is a variety of work. So it's not just, you guys, I do a lot of Best Buy, refrigerators, washers, dryers. I like those because they're the highest paying, right? That's one job. You can do one job and make $80, $100, as to, you know, Container Store might be a $30 order or $40 or something like that, smaller items. It's a variety of work. So there's easy jobs, there's harder jobs, there's jobs that require you to break stuff down or reassemble stuff. There's, you know, jobs that require you to go up or downstairs. It's a huge variety of work. So I do like that. I like that, you know, it's not just all the same type of work. It's a nice variety. And one of the best pros is pre-scheduled work. I love pre-scheduled work. I love accepting a Dolly on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. So I just have my calendar filled up and I already know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. I know how much I'm gonna make. I don't have to worry about, you know, waking up in the morning, turning the apps on and hoping I get something. I already got work lined up. So anything after that is just extra. So I love pre-scheduled work. I wish all the apps were like that, where you can, you know, get a job. You can get a job for the same day, you can get a job the next day, you can get a job a week later, you can get a job almost a month later, which I've had that before, like 3 weeks out. Like, I love that feature. Never get rid of that. All right, so that's it for the pros. I'm sure I missed a lot, but those are the ones that stand out to me the most, and that was about 10 minutes. That's what I was trying to do. So I have a lot of cons. Let me get to it now. Okay, so I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. I'm trying to stay like around 12 to 13 minutes on this. So I have a lot of cons. I'm gonna get through them quickly. I'm not gonna elaborate because I did on my Dolly standoff video. So let's get right into it. So number one is no support, okay? No support. So when I say no support, you only get support for small things. So like, I gave the example, if I show up to a house and the customer's not there, you get support, right? They'll tell you to take it back or wait 10 minutes and then take it back, stuff like that. Little things like that. Or you got the wrong address, so they have to update the address. Or, you know, they mixed up the pickup and the drop off, you know? They got you going to the pickup first and the drop off, but it's supposed to be the other way around. Stuff like that. They can fix those. The big stuff, where you actually need help, meaning you're missing pay, or, you know, you got screwed over like I did, where they took money from you that, you know, is unjustified. You didn't violate any rules or anything. Hold on, my phone going off. Okay, that's nothing. That's me. I'm getting paid with Dolly right now. Today's actually, it's late. It's supposed to be on Tuesday. Today's Wednesday. They just paid me. Anyways, they can fix little things, but the big stuff, the stuff that you really actually need help, there's no support. So I already explained that. Dolly standoff video, you have to watch it. Support is trained to ignore you. So when you have a big problem, they are trained, literally trained to ignore you. They are trained to not respond to a persistent driver. Anyone that has a complaint and they're persistent, they won't go away, they just ignore you. They do that to both drivers and to customers, both. All right? So I'm sorry, my phone's going on. I gotta keep my phone on because I don't wanna miss an order. Low pay. When I say low pay, I'm saying a lot of jobs that you do, if you did it as a direct booking, you're gonna make way more than you would with the Dolly app. I do understand they have to get their cut. I get that. They have expenses, they're a business, I get it. There's no way that they could pay you what you're worth. It's not possible, okay? So when you have a middleman, you just have to accept the payment. Now, they do overcharge customers. So the customer's paying way more than they would pay if they hired me directly. So, you know, if you make 80 bucks, you know, or 70 bucks, that customer paid like 140, 150 bucks. Just keep that in your mind. So like a lot of jobs that I do, there's some refrigerator orders that, you know, it's, you know, Best Buy is 8 miles from my house. And then the delivery is like 3 miles away. So for me, I have a flat rate of $75. I'll do that for $75 if it's just a drop off only. And I'll get paid 90 bucks on Dolly doing the same thing. So the pay is good. I can't complain about the pay. So anyways, that doesn't work for everyone, but I'm just letting you know, the pay is low in the sense that there's a lot of jobs that you'll do, especially moving jobs, that you'll get $250 for a moving job that you would normally get $500 if you did a direct booking. So just understand they take like 50% of the profits. Missing payments, I've dealt with that many times, not going into detail. I dealt with that many times. You gotta stay on top of it. Every job you do, I recommend you write it down, write the Dolly number down, the order number, screenshot it, save it, and on that next payment, when you get paid, they send you an email, and you can also go into your history. Make sure you got paid, because there's been times where I have payments missing. It was missing like 1 or 2 orders that I did. And I had to call them, and it took like 2-3 weeks before and they'll say, oh, it's a glitch in the system or something. Nah. So anyways, track your stuff like on paper. So missing payments and payment changes. There's times where I accepted a job and it had a pay. And then after I complete the job, it went down. It got lower than what it said. I've had that happen multiple times. I do know that on their terms, they say that the first time they show you a payment, it's an estimate. All right, guys, hope I was able to edit that smoothly. My pest control guy was knocking on my door. I think I edited it out. So anyways, I don't even remember where I left off, but I think I was talking about the missing payments and the pay changing. You accept the job for a certain amount, and then when you complete the job, it's a different payout. All that stuff, just out of control with that. Customer entitlement, this is a huge one. This is probably one of the biggest ones. Customer entitlement, they are allowed to provide false and inaccurate information, and there's no accountability for the customer. So a customer can book a job and they can literally give false information, right? It's not accurate. So whether they leave out the stairs or they add more items, they have you move more items than they're supposed to, because everything is itemized. So they're supposed to put, if it's 3 boxes, you have to put 3 boxes, and you have to put if it's small, medium, or large. They break it down like that. But the customer, they're gonna run game. They want to pay as little as possible, and they're gonna be deceptive. They could purposely deceive you and get away with it. And then when you complain about it, when you say, I don't want to do this job, I didn't accept this, Dolly will say you still have to do it. Stairs are included or whatever, which that doesn't make any sense. You can't say stairs are included on every order, because as a driver, you have a right to know if you're doing stairs or not. So you can't say stairs are included. There might be stairs. It's either there are stairs or it's not. Like, it's a big difference. I need to know, because if I got to take a front load washer to the 3rd floor of an apartment, I have a right to know that. You can't just say, oh, it might be stairs, and just be prepared to do it. No, that's not how it works. So anyway, that's a big problem. Customer entitlement. Consumer protection, that kind of falls into the same thing. Consumer protection is whatever the customer says, they're gonna go with it. So when it comes to complaints, if a customer complains, they're gonna go with it. Whatever the customer says, they go with it. They don't question them. They don't investigate. The customer can do and say whatever they want. There's a lot of deficiencies. So I just mentioned the stairs. That's a big one. There's plenty of people I know in my market that refuse to do it. When they accept the job, it says no stairs. The customer or the retail store, they have to put if it's stairs or not. So if they put no stairs, you don't have to do it. And the Dolly shouldn't make you do it, but you'll get there and you gotta go 3 flights of stairs. And it's not easy. It's like one of them curving stairs and stuff. And I've known people that refuse to do it, and they get punished. Dolly will punish you. They will penalize you, and you'll get kicked off, suspended for like 10 days, or they'll dock your pay and all that stuff. So huge problem with that. There's issues with the policy clarity. There's a lot of policy that is inaccurate. It's not accurate. Not gonna go into detail on it, but I'm just letting you know. And unreasonable delivery terms. So when I say unreasonable, just the things I'm talking about, it's not reasonable to have a driver accept a job and then expect them to do it no matter what. So even if the customer lied and the driver complains about it, or the customer left out stairs, or the customer added 10 items, you're supposed to do 5 items, but they added 10, and then expect the driver to still do it for the same pay. That's unreasonable. Like, these are the issues that I have with Dolly. These are the cons. The illusion of caring. They don't care about the customer, the retail store, or the drivers. And that is an absolute fact. I have proof. I've even showed you guys evidence of it. They treat customers just as bad as drivers. They treat retail stores. I have a video on that where I literally listened to a retail store calling Dolly support and they got treated like crap. That's just how it is. So I wasn't gonna do it, but at the end of this video, I'm gonna show you some reviews from customers. These are customers that book jobs with Dolly, and I want you to see what they said. Okay, I'm gonna show it at the end. There's no oversight. I explained that already in my final Dolly Standoff video. There is absolutely no oversight, no supervision. It's a self-run app, and each department, they do what they can, and then when they have problems, there's no one above them that can help you. The corporate office, the corporate owners, the founders, the people up top that have the power to make changes and are responsible for the business, I don't know who they are. They're absent. So nobody knows who they are. They don't communicate with us. They don't talk to drivers. They don't show any remorse. They don't care. All they know is the money's coming in. That's all they care about. And there's a lot of companies like that. They run like that. They're absent. All of them. The app needs improvement, right? They are making some improvements. I've noticed there have been some updates to the app. Some of them I like, some of them I don't like, but it is what it is. But it's always room for improvement. I do understand it's not easy to, make changes on apps. Apps are very complicated. I understand that. But, they need driver feedback and they need to implement some of those changes. And there's a lot of changes they need to make. And, they're slowly improving, but not by much. There's several things. These are ideas that I have. This is just based on my experience, but for the app, they need to add photos. A customer must be required to add at least one photo. It's mandatory. You cannot book the job unless you upload a photo. I have so many jobs that I do, I have no idea what I'm doing. It'll give a description of a piece of furniture or a dresser or whatever. I need to see it. I need to see what it looks like. They don't give dimensions, nothing. So you just have to there's no photo and you have no idea what you're doing. Like, a driver should never have to operate like that. You should have all of the details. So mandatory photo, absolutely. You have to upload a photo and a clear photo. They require us at the drop-off to take a photo and it has to be clear. Why can't the customer do that? Why can't the customer take a photo of what they want us to move? Out of respect, take a photo. Take a photo of the stairs so we can see what they look like. Like, that should be mandatory. Things like that. They need to add a waiver form. They need to add a waiver for IKEA. They allow, on the app, they allow you to do assemblies. You can assemble furniture, okay? And you certify on the app that you are qualified and know what you're doing. Even if you don't, you're responsible, right? You're responsible personally. So if you damage it or you don't know what you're doing, that's not gonna fall on Dolly, that's gonna fall on you. They need to do that. They need to add a waiver form or a checkbox or something where a customer, if they want you to install a refrigerator or a washer or a dryer, and I have experience, I can certify, just like IKEA, I certify that I can do assemblies. I can certify I can install washers, dryers, refrigerators. I have the training, I've done it. I have experience with that. They should add that so the customer has that option. The customer could just sign the waiver and it could relieve you from liabilities. Install or uninstall. Or if they need to remove your door for a refrigerator to fit, you can sign this waiver. You're gonna release them from liability. Give the customer that option. Everyone's afraid of risk. Risk come with everything. Everything you do, there's gonna be risk. So relieve yourself from liability, and the driver certifies that I know how to remove a front door. I certify I do. Customer could check that waiver box and say, yes, I give him permission to remove my door. I release him from liability. Real easy fixes. They must provide accurate information. The customer, mandatory. It has to be accurate information or you would pay a rebooking fee. That was a great idea from one of my subscribers. Great idea. Hold the customer accountable. They punish a driver in a heartbeat. A driver will get punished. They will take your money. They will suspend you. But when a customer does the same thing, when a customer lies, right, gives false information, the driver should have a right not only to either rebook that job, right, or to have the customer pay a rebooking fee so that it could be updated to correct info, right? So I get there, it's 3 flights of stairs, right? It said no stairs, so we're gonna add 3 flights of stairs. Customer's gonna pay a $50 rebooking fee, and then I could accept it or I could decline it and let somebody else do it. I promise you, the lying customers will go away. if you make them pay. They should also, on that same note, allow a driver, if they're in that situation, to be able to relist it. If I accept a job, a contract, right? That's a contract. If I accept the job and I get there and it's a totally different job, it doesn't match what I accepted, I should be able to relist it without any penalty. That's on the customer. That's their fault, not my fault. So they have to be inconvenienced, not me. One of the things, this is actually a pro now. It was a con. A con used to be where you could not do multiple dollies at the same time. You can accept one. Let's say you have 2 jobs at 11 o'clock and you can only start one, and you can't start the other one at the same time. You have to complete that one and then you can start the other one. They now have it where you could do 2 at the same time. So that's actually a pro now. So we're gonna throw that on the pro side. That was on the con. That's a new update that they just did. So I do appreciate that. That was great. Any claims, they need to investigate. There's another app that I use that I love that actually investigates, okay? How can you not investigate? That just doesn't make any sense at all. No sense at all. So any claim, whether it's a customer claim or a driver refuting a claim or a complaint or whatever, there must be an investigation. You need an investigation unit or something. Somebody that actually looks at it and gets the information from the customer and then gets information from the driver and then make a decision. Not the customer complains and then you just take the pay of the driver and shame them. Don't do that again. And you don't even know if they did it or not. Like that, these are common sense things. I don't know how a business operates like that, but that's how this business operates. Before you take any money from a driver, there must be an investigation. Somebody must look at it. Somebody got to put their name on it, right? So that there's a name associated to the investigation, and they look at it and they say, yes, this is justified. You violated this, whatever. Here's the reason why, and we're deducting this amount. And the driver should get a breakdown of it. The driver should see exactly what happened. That's to me, that's just common sense. But how you could just take a driver's money for whatever reason and not explain it to them, and then don't even give them an opportunity to fight it. That's a huge con. No opportunity to even fight it. Not even a chance. You can't talk to anyone. You can write letters. You can call. You can email. No response. No chance of fighting it. Makes absolutely no sense. That's what this company does. This is what you have to deal with. Huge con. Banning customers. If you have a customer that provides false information, if they do it, just like a driver, if a driver violates the terms 1, 2, 3 times, they could get terminated, right? They could get deactivated. Same thing for a customer. If you have a customer taking advantage of drivers and they always leave out information, they leave out pertinent information, they don't upload photos, they provide false info about what you're doing, what you're taking, they're always leaving out the stairs, all that stuff. You know, after so many times, ban them. They need to be banned. You're not allowed to use this app anymore. Customers must agree to the terms. So I know that customers have agreements. They do. There is terms that you have to agree to, but the customers need to agree to the term. The terms need to be updated and they need to reflect reality, not old terms that's you know, obsolete. Like everything I just said, you know, I agree to upload photo. I agree to provide accurate information. I agree if I'm on the 3rd floor of an apartment, I will put 3 flights of stairs and pay for it. Like all that stuff, like they need to agree to those terms so that it's very easy to ban them if they violate it. It's real easy fix. This is the end. I know this video is really long. I could go on. I'm gonna end it with this. The biggest con is, and I kind of expressed this already, but they don't listen to driver complaints. I have a ton of complaints, and I know you do too. Everyone that has Dolly, there's nobody I know that does Dolly and doesn't have any complaints at all. They say this is the perfect app. There's a lot of complaints, and part of a good business is to listen to the people that's making you money. The drivers that's generating the income, I would say it's probably a good idea to listen to them. They probably have some good ideas. They're out there every day. They're experiencing things and they're sharing their experience. You have to have somebody listen to them. I personally want to be a driver rep for Dolly. I want to. If they would allow me to, I want to be a rep. I want to be the person to collect all the complaints and compile that so that I can present it to them and show them, here, these are the things, the complaints, what can we do to fix this, if anything? It's real simple. They don't listen to drivers at all. And someone did email me about talking about updates to the app or something. It wasn't about Dolly. I think it was somebody from TaskRabbit, because you know TaskRabbit and Dolly, TaskRabbit actually bought out Dolly, but they still operate separately. So Dolly still runs as Dolly. TaskRabbit is still run as TaskRabbit. It's just a TaskRabbit company, but it's still separated. There's still a separation between the two. So TaskRabbit has their way of doing things and Dolly still has their way of doing things. So I think this was someone from TaskRabbit or maybe from Dolly, I don't know, but they were reaching out to me. They wanted to show me some of the features on the app, and I guess I didn't get selected. There was a couple people got selected. I didn't get selected, but you know, that was my opportunity to share a lot of this information. But the point is, I haven't seen any effort from them, like actually trying to listen to drivers and implement that. Not like this, like Dispatch, they listen to drivers. They are actually implementing the things that people complain about. They're finding a solution. You can't fix everything. I understand that. There's things that drivers gonna complain about and it just can't be fixed. I understand that, but there's a lot of little things that if they fix it, it just makes everything so much better. And they've done that. Dispatch is the standard. That's how you run a gig app company. That's the prime example. Dolly is totally opposite. They don't care. Speaking to a person, if I have an issue, I want to talk to somebody. I don't want to email. I don't want to email compliance and get no response. They just ignore you. I went through that. You guys, I went through the whole process. I even sent a certified letter and I still can't get a response. I cannot talk to anybody, nobody. So, and if you call support, they say, oh, we don't have the phone number. There's no phone number for compliance. Like this, that doesn't make any sense. There's nobody I can actually talk to. So anyways, this video is really long. That's my Dolly pros and cons. There's a lot of cons. But at the end of the day, this app is #1 in my market. Why? It gives me the most work and I make the most money with it. That's the only relationship that we have. So it's a love-hate relationship, right? It's like being in an abusive relationship, right? It's like being with that person that you know that, you know, they're in an abusive relationship and everyone's like, why are you still with this person? And they're like, I love him though. He's so good to me, he take care of me. It's very similar to that. It's just, you know, I get abused by them all the time and you just have to like, just deal with it, you know? But it's like the good of it, right? As far as my business, right? They're helping my business grow. They're helping my business generate income. They're keeping me busy. Like that's the whole purpose. That's the reason why I'm with them. I wouldn't, if they had no work, if no work was coming out, I wouldn't even be working with them. The fact that they're generating work for me, that's the relationship, but it's an abusive relationship. So that's the point. It's a love-hate thing, but I have to base it on who can make me the most money. Who can keep me the busiest, who can make me the most money. And my hope is that Dolly really could just annihilate all the other gig apps. I think Dolly has their foot everywhere. I just saw, there's another company that popped up. No, that was Rody. I'm sorry, Rody. Rody just added a PetSmart in my area. But like all these companies are constantly trying to grow. And Dolly has a potential to just be #1, just dominate. If they just cared a little bit. Like if they improve the support and the app, I believe that they could be just the most dominant app out there. It's great. And again, like I said, they pay twice a week. I'm getting paid literally twice a week. Money is just rolling in and huge payouts, huge payouts. So anyways, I'm done. Moving jobs, delivering appliances. I mean, you name it, Facebook market, all that stuff. It's just crazy, crazy. You can literally do anything on Dolly. Great app, but a lot of improvements. So anyway, that's it for this video. My next pros and cons will be TaskRabbit. So y'all stay tuned. All right, y'all have a good one. Catch y'all on the next one.